brother, I'm going run a wild Hulk Hogan. If all I get's a moment, I'll make sure it's an explosion. Cause lately I've been seeing stars, trying to kick out on this chokehold. But it's no holds barred, middle fingers like I'm stone cold.
And what is good, ladies and gentlemen? We starting early. It's a good morning. It's WrestleMania week. Set got revealed yesterday. If you're one of those fans that want to wait till tomorrow night to look at the set, that's fine. But I mean, I like that they do set reveals on Thursdays of WrestleMania. That set looked beautiful. It's Friday morning. We got SmackDown tonight. We wake up and J. Cole's responding to Kendrick, issuing a little warning shot. And now you got another episode of the Slap and Meat Wrestling podcast. And we have to start this show first by saying, go to the links in the description. We got DHgate. We got WWE Shop. Go and click those links. Scan this QR code in the bottom of the screen if you're watching on YouTube. And go support your boys, me and DJ Wavy D as well. And junkyardmediagroup.com is where you can go and find the audio of this if you're not already following the audio podcast. If you want to go look at the blogs, if you want to go and check in on the Beyond the Junkyard podcast, we had those two guys on our show on Tuesday. They do their shows on Thursday, live on their YouTube page. And so you can go get all of that information at junkyardmediagroup.com. You can follow me on TikTok at WeTooDeep413. Same tag for Twitter, which is now newly followed by the greatest wrestler of all time as of now, John Cena. Just give it a few years and the GOAT will change to our tribal chief. But yeah, so let's jump in. And so here's how we're going to jump in. So I was going to jump in and start this by comparing. I said this on Tuesday. I was going to compare my WrestleMania predictions when me and Wavy D predicted them, back in February. I was going to compare my predictions to what we actually got. And I was quite right. I was accurate on like 70% of my predictions, right? And that's as far as that, and that we may, talk about that in a little while later. But there's something else happened over the last week that's really, so we're gonna take that out, and this is more important, and that is the CM Punk Ariel Helwani interview. It's WrestleMania week. We get the Bray documentary on Monday. Rhea and Becky were on Ariel Helwani's show as well on Monday. Punk was there. Cody's been there. We got so much new, media stuff happening with it surrounding WrestleMania because it's the biggest media week in WWE's calendar. It's essentially the end of the year for WWE, and then next Monday starts the new year, right? And so it's the big media week. Everyone's doing media to promote WrestleMania. You got Roman and Rock on Jimmy Fallon. And I mean, that's just what it is, right? And for some reason, people are taking offense to CM Punk doing media week. And so here's what I want to talk about. I got to clap back a little bit because James and Cody on the Beyond the Junkyard podcast here in the Junkyard Media Group, they did their show last night, sort of impromptu response to CM Punk. And I listened to it. It's they're their show in its entirety. And I need to clap back just a little bit to start this segment, to start this show. We're clapping back. We're going to talk about this, and then we'll get on with our regularly scheduled program. This is really the only change that sort of happened last minute, right? So let's start clapping back. And so the first thing I want to say is, if you're going to come at this argument without an open mind, there's no reason to have this debate, right? Arguing with a closed-minded person, it's like arguing, like, there's no purpose to it. And so when you come into this, and this is no diss, this, you can like or dislike whoever you want, but when it comes to Roman Reigns, when it comes to CM Punk, I can automatically tell you when Junkyard James or Cody speak on it, and mostly Junkyard James, that it's going to come from a biased perspective, right? Especially this CM Punk thing, right? Everything you said about CM Punk yesterday was the exact same shit you've been saying about CM Punk for the last 2 years. You didn't add anything new to the conversation. And so the first thing I want to respond to, clap back at, is this conspiracy theory that you're trying to create, that, oh, the timing is convenient. Yeah, the timing is convenient because it's WrestleMania week. It's the big, I just got done explaining this. It's the biggest media week of the year for WWE. It's not a surprise that they would send, like, CM Punk can't wrestle. It's his arm that's broken, not his mouth. Like, it would be dumb for WWE to have WrestleMania media week and not put CM Punk on a mic somewhere. Oh, but Ariel Helwani has no. Ariel Helwani doesn't have beef with Tony Khan, and if he like I don't think he actually cares. But Tony Khan has beef with Helwani because Helwani asks real questions. He's a real reporter. Because he covers MMA, which is a real sport, and so he's going to cover WWE. He wants the information. Now, obviously, there's things that CM Punk was sort of forced to sign an NDA so he can't talk about. But like Tony Khan hides behind, like, I think it was, he went on his show and he hides behind this. Oh, I can't talk about that. The legal team told me not to talk. Tony Khan, you're the owner, dude. You're the only person who should be able to talk about it. Right. And so I go into this and I know exactly what's going to be said when you announce what you're talking about. Right. Because it's the same script that everyone who glazes Tony Khan and the Young Bucks and Hangman and Jack Perry, right? Everyone who glazes them says the same thing. It's nothing new. It's all Phil's fault, right? Now, I'm not going to come at this and say that, and this has been my stance this whole time for the last 2 years. CM Punk's guilty of something, of something. Absolutely, he's not completely innocent. No one's saying that. No honest person is saying CM Punk was not a problem in the locker room. No one's saying that. I think what we have to combat, though, with is that what I'm saying is that Punk caused problems because there were other people causing problems. So this all comes down to, what was CM Punk told? Now, obviously, CM Punk's not going to tell us what he was sold, at least at this point. But obviously, it didn't fit what he wanted. You could tell when he got there that CM Punk's entire desire of being in AEW was to try to help the business and put over the business, right? And you can say that that's wrong or not, but he didn't want the title. Tony Khan gave him the title, and CM Punk said, I don't want it, but I'll do it anyway if that's what you want. His goal was to get over guys like Jack Perry and Darby Allin and MJF, the younger guys, and Ricky Starks, right? That's what he wanted to do. But Tony Khan he wanted the fantasy book. And when CM Punk comes in there and says this is a clown show, you guys aren't serious about making money, right? And then you guys, well, we just sold out Greensboro, we just sold out London. No. That cool. That happened. But if you were serious about making money, you would try, right? Pay-per-views are going to sell, right? If you were serious about making money, you would go, you would sell out Dynamite in Quebec, where an 18,000 seat arena where you only put 4,000 people in it. If you were serious about making money, you would, listen to Phil. Listen, I know these are going to be guys you don't like, but if CM Punk, Jim Cornette, and Eric Bischoff are all telling you the same problems, and everything CM Punk comes out and says confirms everything Bischoff and Cornette has been saying about AEW the last 2 years, I'm sorry, I'm going to listen to Cornette and Bischoff, who have actual experience in this business, not sitting in a basement somewhere. Like, I'm not going to listen to Meltzer or Alvarez. They don't know jack shit, right? Especially because they're friends with the Super Friends. And what Tony Khan, or excuse me, what CM Punk confirmed to us in this interview was everything is running the way we thought it was. The Super Friends run the show. It is all friends wrestling. So let's clap back there and say, look, if you're going to come at this biased and you're not open-minded, this discussion's not really worth having. And to sit there and be like, oh, the timing's convenient. What's convenient? That it's WrestleMania week and CM Punk is one of the top names in the business still. I mean, right? He comes in and he gives his take on, the Jack Perry situation. I ain't got much to add. I've exhausted that whole conversation. But Punk gives his side of the story, and it's, oh, he's the narcissistic boyfriend who thinks everyone did everything, everyone's doing everything wrong and it's not themselves. Or maybe he's pushed to a point where where he says, I don't want to be here anymore, just get rid of me. Right? Coming off of, 2 years ago where you have, Hangman Page, and this side of the story comes out where he explains that him and Hangman worked on a promo backstage, and then they got to the ring and Hangman completely goes off script, which is unprofessional in two different ways. Right? Because if you're going to go off script and not do what's planned, now you're putting CM Punk at danger of looking like an ass, because now he's got to listen to you. Now he's got to see what you're saying so that he can respond. But then it's also unprofessional because you just don't do that. If you work on a segment backstage, you don't change the plans last minute without letting somebody know. That's just unprofessional, dude. And Punk doesn't have the right to get upset at that. Right? He doesn't have a reason to get upset at that. When he goes into detail about Jack Perry, and apparently Shivani told him no, the doctor told him no, the producer told him no. I don't know, Jack. I think if three guys above you said no, then the answer is no, dude. Like, and that's the thing. Like, Jack Perry's an entitled twat waffle. Everyone wants to say Punk is acting entitled. Jack Perry was the one acting entitled. Like, he's never heard no a day in his life. And that's what this is. You got a bunch of Beverly Hills Cucamonga rich children with a rich owner who daddy gave all the money to go live out his dreams. Right? And this isn't like the first business that CM Punk, or not CM, the first business that Tony Khan has fucked up. Right? Daddy gave him control of a soccer team because he likes soccer. And guess what? The fans don't like Tony Khan because he's not making the team better. He instead of on transfer day, you know, when which in soccer is the last day you can, you know, transfer players. Instead of spending money to get better players, he's at fucking WrestleCon. You know, right? The Jaguars. Do I need to go over the list of things that the Jaguars have wrong? They don't have a family room in the stadium for family members of the team, so players' wives or girlfriends have to breastfeed in the public bathroom. You know, this is the same organization that the NFL went in to grade all the stadiums, and they were the worst rated stadium, almost had to get shut down because there was evidence of rat infestation. But daddy bought a team for Tony to play football career with. And now daddy bought him a wrestling promotion that's not making money. He can't run it. He's a mark with money. That's all he is. And you can hate me for it. He doesn't know what he's doing. Punk was right. He's not a boss. I'm sure he's a nice dude. I'm sure Tony Khan's a great dude to hang out with. But that's not what you need when you're running a business. You need a boss. And if I went to the 3-4 people above me in my company and they said, no, we're not doing this. The next one said, no, we're not doing this. The next one said, no, we're not doing this. And I did it anyway, I would be fired. Like, that's how the real world works. But instead, right? Like, and so CM Punk, understanding that Tony Khan's supposed to be the guy in charge, goes to him and says, hey, handle this situation. And Tony Khan's response is, what do you want me to do? Be big balls, Tony, dude. Jack Perry needs to go. Right? And then what I find funny is all these people like complain. WWE's holding Mustafa Ali. He wants to leave. He said he doesn't want to be there. Why are they not letting him leave? And CM Punk said, fire me. And Tony Khan said, no. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. But they're not going to see that connection. Right? Punk wanted to get out of there, but Tony Khan wouldn't release him. Right? The conversation that James and Cody had yesterday, and this is you can have your opinions, that's fine. But if you're not going, like I noticed you didn't pull up any comments from the comment section this week. Kind of convenient to me, right? I think you guys are spinning a narrative about Punk that's being fed by guys, you know, that like Houseman or other guys like that. Oh, Punk's the issue. He's the common denominator. He's the issue. Now, maybe, just maybe, he was sold that this was going to change the world, and when he got there, he realized that it was just an overfunded indie show with no real leadership. And so when he tried to be that leadership, they kicked him out. Right? This is idea that like if you go to like a bar and you're a new customer, the regulars don't like you, right? Because you might change the right. So if you go into a bar and it's not being run properly, right? Let's say I'm a new customer and this bar is just nothing's being run right, right? They're breaking laws. None of the managers are doing anything right. And then I start complaining as a new customer, but hey, you're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do this. Can someone do this? They're going to throw me out, right? Because when you're comfortable and someone tries to make changes, it's right. No one really wants to be uncomfortable, right? And so CM Punk came in and said, no, this is wrong. We need to do this. This is wrong. We need to do this. This is wrong. We need to do this. Y'all listen to me. We need to do this because I have this experience, right? And the Cucamonga kids and Hangman and Jungle Bitch and all of those there who've never been told no a day in their life, and they're there because they're best friends with the EVPs, and right, and they're basically there to have a fun, this fun playground that's never ending that they can, go and use. And someone comes onto the playground and says, well, that's not safe, and that's not efficient, and hey, if we did this, we'd sell more tickets. Hey, let's do this. And it changes the vibe. People get uncomfortable and they start to kick that guy out, right? And that's exactly what happened. If you want to see it another way, that's fine, it's up to you. But the reality of the situation is CM Punk tried to change the way the company was run, and the Cucamonga gang and the All Friends Wrestling just didn't want to do it. And so Tony Khan, the last part I really want to talk about is his response to this. He felt the need to respond to CM Punk's interview by sending out Adam Copeland, who then comes off and basically pushes this whole narrative that this is the greatest place to be. I'm having so much fun. Tony, do your promos yourself, dude. Do your promos yourself. Like, why are you sending out, right? And what's crazy, man, is you got people like Adam Copeland. Like, I respect him, dude, but I'm losing respect because he's doing the bidding of a dude who has no idea what the hell he's doing. Jericho did the same thing, and he's like ruined the way I feel about Chris Jericho. Right? Because they're going to stand up, they're going to play company guy, they're going to tell everyone how good aid, and I'm sure a lot of people are having a good time there. But dude, you're losing viewership every single week. You just spent, I say this every week now, it seems like you just spent like $16 million over the course of Ospreay, Okada, and Monet's contract. You're spending like $16 million a year for those three wrestlers alone. And the viewership every single week has gone down. Every single week. It's not a good return on investment. That's not a good environment. Especially heading in, they're 4 weeks or 3 weeks away from their next pay-per-view, and the viewership goes down. People aren't tuning in. They either rent buildings that are too big, so it looks like they're not fucking selling tickets because they're not selling tickets. And so, yeah, I'm sure the best wrestle there, but you're not making money, and that's what the company should be there for. I'm sure you have great matches planned for you, Adam Copeland. I'm sure you do. But at the end of the day, when you walk out and you see an entire half of a stadium or arena that's empty, I just need you to say to yourself, I'm having fun, even though we're not making money. Like, I don't see how this train continues, right? I don't see how this train continues to succeed. And at this point, Shad Khan is someone that I need to start blaming because he's enabling this. If Shad would stop funding this, because Tony Khan's come out and said he's going to be aggressive this year with free agents. He's going to spend money to get all the top free agents. There's only so much money, dude. I know your dad's like the 48th richest dude in the world, but like, yeah, at what point do you like realize that you're not making money? There's no way you're profiting at the end of the year. This is just a game to you. And it's like, I don't know, dude. Like, this isn't long. There's no long-term success here, but this will keep, like, it's not going to die until the money dries out. And my fear is that he's going to dry his dad out of his life earnings trying to build something that's just not succeeding. Right. And then the excuse, the clap back to that is, oh, we're only 4 or 5 years old. Look, we're in a different age. We can't use the same thing, the WCW example, because we're in a different age. Right? You can't use the response that people just don't watch cable the same way, because the ratings haven't changed with WWE. And they're going higher now. Right? The ratings for WWE have remained stable pretty much the last 10 years. So we can't use that excuse, because the only wrestling show and throughout all of cable, the only show, that's consistently losing ratings each week is AEW. And I don't know about what the other bigger shows do, but when I'm talking about wrestling shows, like, AEW is the only one losing viewership, right? Basketball's not losing viewership. Football's not losing viewership. In the wrestling spectrum, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, they aren't losing viewership on a week-to-week basis. AEW is. You're not making money. You're not getting new viewers. People aren't tuning in. And you just spent $16 million a year for 3 wrestlers. That's not a successful way to build something at all. It's not successful at all to build a company. All right, let's move on to the next segment. We're going to continue with this talk to Tony. Tony, I'm teaching you how to book, dude. I took it upon myself. And we're going to do this pretty quickly. I took it upon myself to book an episode of Dynamite for you. And so let me tell you sort of how we're running this. So it's a 120-minute show, full from start to finish, and then so you're getting 30 minutes of commercials. That's 25% of the show in commercials. You got to make your money somehow. That gives you 90 minutes of airtime of actual product, right? We're not running picture-in-picture. I hate picture-in-picture. So we're not running it. I don't think it serves any purpose. Most people tune out of it anyway. So how do we start the show? So let me tell you this philosophy of how I did this, right? So this is to tell stories. And stories aren't like, hey, in the match, I hit him with this move last week and I lost the match, so I'm going to hit it again. And that's not storytelling. I'm sorry. That's just not how you tell compelling stories that get people to want to. That's not how you tell compelling stories to get people to watch the pay-per-views, which is what the weekly show should be doing, right? So we're telling stories, and so you have your A story, your B story, and your C story, right? And if in WWE, a lot of times you got D, E, and F, right? But here we're just going to keep it real simple. We're running an A story, a B story, a C story. Of your 90 minutes, you got to give us like 33% to the A story, like 25% to the B story, like 15% to the C story, and then there's a little bit of time remaining where you can do some random fun matches, a debut, a return, some sort of other match in there, right? So let's start it. Segment 1. You get the intro, right? You get the intro where Excalibur's claiming it's Wednesday. You know what that means. Keep that. That's fine. Put it on a t-shirt. Sell it. That's how you make merch. That's a good slogan. I know Brody King started it. Keep it in his memory. Put it on a t-shirt. Sell it. Right? That's how you make money, right? And then as he's saying it, right, you're cutting in, and Tony Schiavone says, "Hold on there, Excalibur. We're hearing something's happening backstage in the locker room. Let's go check it out. We got our cameras back there. Let's check it out. What's going on?" There's a 5-minute brawl, basically, where the Young Bucks attack. I chose Top Flight, but you could put any face tag team here. They attack them in the locker room, right? And the refs come in. They're trying to stop this brawl, right? Boom. Now we're introducing story. There's your hook, right? That the camera fades to black. It cuts away to Tony Storm doing a backstage promo, starting a story where she calls out and says, that she's the best, and that if Deonna Purrazzo wants to challenge her again, she's going to have to earn the right to face her again for the title. Right? That 5-minute promo goes off. You go to your first commercial break of 3 minutes, a 3-minute commercial break, right? So you'll have 10 3-minute commercials, right? So you're 10 minutes of on-air time, and now a commercial. You come back, right? As you're going to commercial, though, you have someone like Schiavone say, "When we come back, Adam Copeland open challenge for the TNT Championship," right? You come back, Copeland's walking out to the ring. Who answers the open challenge? You could literally put anyone in the spot. In this case, I put Griff Garrison, some new guy, mid-card guy that people haven't heard of. You can spotlight him, and that's what this title should be. That's what this title, the TBS title, the Continental title, the FTW title, all of those. You could take this segment and flip and do open challenges with all of those belts on a week-to-week basis. Put one in that slot, right? It's not to build story. You got your 10-minute match. Adam Copeland wins, and you move forward, right? You go to another commercial break. You come back. As you're coming back from this commercial, you see the best friends arguing. We just saw that. What was it? Trent just turned on them. So you see the best friends talking in the parking lot. Orange and Chucky. Is it Chuck Taylor, right? And they're talking to Trent about what happened. And out of nowhere, they get attacked by the Young Bucks in the parking lot. That's another 5-minute brawl, right? And then you fade the black there, and then you go to a promo backstage or some vignette where Deonna Purrazzo responds to Tony Storm, saying, "Hey, if I got to earn this, I'll earn it. I'll do whatever it takes to earn it," right? And then you go to a commercial break. So you got 30 minutes of programming, and I know what the fans are like, we want our wrestling, right? But as you go to this commercial break, when we come back, Samoa Joe in the ring, you got to hook them in to stay past the commercial break, right? So by this point, you're 10, 20, 30, you're about 40 minutes into the runtime. So Joe's back. They come back. Joe does this promo talking about how he's looking for the best of the best in AEW to challenge him, and there's two guys that are on his radar, and it's Swerve and it's Ospreay, and in fact, I got it proved with the powers that be that they're gonna have a match tonight, and the winner of that match will be my opponent, and right, and he could say it in a way that's like, and the winner of that match is going to get the unfortunate honor of losing to me at Dynasty or something like that, right? And build this story, right? You can have Joe, because I think you need an on-stage or on-screen GM, and so you can have Joe sort of talk, bring that idea up that he talked to the GM that will be right. I talked to the GM or whoever it is. You can announce whoever it is. Maybe the GM comes out with Joe. Make it fucking Big Show for all I give a fuck. Mark Henry, right? You have enough old veterans back there that can be a GM. That way you have an on-screen, power figure that's running things, right? and then you go to a commercial break, right? And so by this point, you're reaching the 9 o'clock hour. This is where people start to, if you understand how people watch TV, right? If the show starts at 8, at the round the 9 o'clock hour, when the rest of TV, the hour shows are ending, this is where people start picking up the remote and flipping the channels, right? And so you have to have a strong hook to keep them in here. And so that's why you come back from this hour. You just had Joe and all of them, so you really want to start telling all of your stories, right? So you come back after that hour. You're hitting the 9 o'clock hour. People are going to start switching the channel. So you come back, and what do? Well, you put on this match between Swerve and Ospreay. So it'll be a 20-minute match. You do the first 10 minutes, you go to a commercial. You do the second 10 minutes, you have Swerve win the match. You go to commercial, and then when you come back, you come to another match. This is Mariah May versus Willow. A random match, it seems like, but it's here to build story, because Deonna Purrazzo, in the middle of this 10-minute match, or at the end of this 10-minute segment of this match, attacks Mariah May, does a stare down with Tony, and says, "Have I earned your attention now?" or something like that, right? So then you go to commercial. Then you come back from that commercial. You have another match, 15-minute match between Red Velvet and Sky Blue. And, 5-6 minutes into it, you go to a 3-minute commercial. You come back, you finish it. Red Velvet versus Sky Blue Part 2. You end it, right? I would have Red Velvet win just because I think that they need to push her. I'm not necessarily sold on Sky Blue's ability. The only thing that people care about is she's thick. But I think they should push Red Velvet. That's just my opinion. You end this match, you go to a 3-minute commercial, and then as you're leaving, you're stating, "Hey, when we come back, the Young Bucks are going to give a promo, right? Young Bucks to end the show, right?" And that's been your hook throughout this entire show, is the Young Bucks, right? And so you just got 45 minutes of wrestling. 45 minutes of wrestling. You've had 50 minutes of wrestling, 55 minutes of wrestling from the show. That's all you really need. That's still like 47% of your programming, right? You do this promo with the Young Bucks. They come out with the tag titles. Again, they mentioned this GM. The GM says no tag tournament. He just gave us the belts, right? And maybe they announce that the GM is, and this would be really good storyline, the GM is who? Kenny Omega. Right. I said this, and I believe this EVP gimmick has a lot of potential with them. Right, because that's been my biggest critique, that they started this company so that they can book themselves to win. Play into that. Make that a story. Have Kenny Omega be an on-screen GM where he doesn't wrestle. He makes these decisions. He gives the Young Bucks the tag titles. At some point, he puts Okada in a position to win a championship. Whether it be the TNT title or whatever it is, right? The world title, whatever, right? And so the Young Bucks come out with Omega, who announces the GM. They cut this promo about how, they've put the whole locker room on blast. We've attacked Best Friends. We've attacked Top Flight. There's no one here to challenge us. We're just going to have the best tag team reign ever. And right. And then in the middle of this promo, out comes Private Party, basically saying, if you guys, but basically calling them lazy, and that, oh, you guys are just doing, you guys think you're smart in this, but you guys aren't tough. If you think you're tough enough, fight us or whatever, right? And you start the story between the Bucks and the Private Party. You do a stare down to end the show. Camera fades to black. It goes to commercial, because I like how Raw and SmackDown end, where it ends at like 9:58 and it goes to like a 2-minute commercial break, and that's how you end the show. I think that's how AEW should end as well. Right? But that's how you book the show, Tony. Is it perfect? No. I wrote that in like 10 minutes. Now imagine if I had a team of writers who thought in this same mindset. Let's say me and Wavy D put our brains together and started booking this show out, how good it could be. Send a rough draft to Eric Bischoff and tell him what he thinks. Ask him what he thinks. I mean, I might do it just to see what he says, but you see what I'm saying? Like, it's not that hard. But Tony Khan doesn't understand how to book. He doesn't understand TV. He doesn't understand how people watch TV. There's a lot that go into this, not just I want the best matches. There's a lot of things that go into this and how you lay out your show, right? So yeah, I mean, it's that easy. Tony, I booked you an episode. Put it in. Let's see if that works. Tony. And then finally, we'll end this with our stand and deliver predictions. All right. So yeah, we're not going to do a top 10 this week. We'll get back up to that next week. So stand and deliver tomorrow at 11 a.m. If you guys are going to watch Stand and Deliver, it's at 11 a.m. on Saturday. So let's go through these matches. On the pre-show, we got Shawn Spears versus Joe Gacy. I hate that this is delegated to the pre-show. I don't know who's going to win this one because Joe Gacy typically loses these matches, but Shawn Spears also seems to come in and be like a guy that's there to get people over. I'm going to say Shawn Spears wins this match. Though Joe Gacy winning in Philly would be crazy because he made his name in CZW, which is in Pennsylvania. So I'm going to go Joe Gacy. I'm going to change it. I'm going to go Joe Gacy. That's my official prediction. Joe Gacy. Next, Oba Femi versus Dijak versus Josh Briggs for a triple threat for the North American Championship. Oba Femi's retaining. I don't see them taking the belt off of him. But this may potentially have match of the year, at least for NXT, written all over it. Dijak and Briggs do great. Oba Femi does great. This is going to be a very good match. May probably be my favorite match of the weekend because it's just three big meaty men slapping meat. And you know that we here on the Slapping Meat Wrestling Podcast like big meaty men slapping meat. We move forward. But Femi's retaining, by the way. Thea Hale, Fallon Henley, Kalani Jordan versus JC Jane, Kiana James, and Issy Dame with Jasmine Nix, as the manager. Thea's winning. Thea, Fallon, and Kalani are winning this. This is that standard type match. I want to know, with Jasmine Nix being at ringside, who's going to be the fourth person that sort of gets involved for the good girls? My prediction could be potentially like a Sol Ruka, but she's sort of got her hands busy with Priestley right now. So that's where my question comes in. But obviously, Thea Hale, Fallon Henley, Kalani Jordan, I believe will win this match. We move to the tag team championship match between the Wolf Dogs, Corbin and Breaker versus Axiom and Nathan Fraser. I really have no idea where this is going. I think the Wolf Dogs retain. I'm going to go with that. I think the Wolf Dogs retain. There's Braun being on. Is he on Raw? I don't even remember at this point. But there's really not a lot of area for him to be pushed right now. So I think as we move towards Money in the Bank, he'll start to do more on the main roster. I do think he's on SmackDown. As we move towards Money in the Bank, I do think that he'll move towards the main roster a little bit more. But I think for now, we're 3 months away from that. I think he can have a little bit more of a run as tag champion. And so I'm going Corbin and Breaker here to retain. We have Lyra Valkyria versus Roxanne Perez for the women's championship. Please don't be Perez. I'm tired. I'm really tired of. She's a bad heel. She's really bad at this. I don't think people realize how bad she is at being a heel, right? And like she was really good as a face, and then she became this bad girl mentality, and she's just not good at it. She's just not good at it. Yeah. Lyra needs to win, and if Lyra loses, I'm gonna be a little bit upset. Got Ilya Dragunov, the Mad Dragon, versus Tony D, the Don of NXT. And up till probably, when was it? Monday or Tuesday, I was going to say Tony D was winning this match. But then I read the news or the dirt sheets that said that, the plan for Dragunov is to book him like Gunther. And I think he's going to be the one to beat Gunther at Bash of Berlin. That's always been my idea and my plan and my that's how I would do it. And so I think Dragunov wins this match, retains the title. And I think within the next coming months, they're gonna book him strongly. They're gonna move him to the main roster by SummerSlam, and we'll get him at Bash at Berlin at the end of August versus Gunther. And then we're going to end the match with what I think should be the main event. I don't know if it will be the main event. I think it should be. And that's Carmelo versus Trick. And Trick Williams is winning this match. But this match right here, I've said it before. I believe this could be on the WrestleMania card and still be a banger. This has match of the year of all WWE, of all wrestling, written all over it. The story behind it. All they got to do is deliver a B+ match. They don't even have to put the best match ever because the story behind it is carrying it. And so if they just go out there and do they thing, man, this is going to be money. Like right there. It's right there. Just go out and do your thing. And I can't wait for this match, dude. Saturday is going to go down as one of the best days of wrestling history, in my opinion, because you got this stacked stand and deliver card. Should be main evented by Trick and Mello, and I think it will be. And then you have the stacked Mania Day 1 card. And let me tell you something. Tomorrow is going to be a busy day for wrestling fans. I can't watch Stand and Deliver live. I don't even know when I'm going to be able to watch it. Probably Sunday morning or afternoon before Mania Day 2. Because I work till 5 on Saturday or 5:30. And so I probably will get home right as WrestleMania is starting. So we'll see when I can watch Stand and Deliver, but it will be watched, and I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it, dude. But yeah, there's our predictions. Let me know what you guys think about what we've talked about. Tony, really take that booking and you can use it. I'll give you credit for it. I don't even need to be paid for it. I did the work for you. Now go make it a reality. I mean, obviously they've already started their storylines, but I've given you a layout and a format. Maybe you'll listen to me because you don't listen to Bischoff or Cornette or anybody that gives you any constructive criticism. But anyway, thank y'all for watching. This is a little bit shorter episode this week, but I hope you guys enjoy your WrestleMania weekend, and we will see you with the fallout of WrestleMania on Tuesday right here on the Slap and Meat Wrestling Podcast.
Brother, I'm going run a wild Hulk Hogan. If I get some moment.